Hello everyone, welcome back to the Captain Logan Show. It is I, Captain Logan, as the title implies. And joining me as always is my wonderful chat moderator and producer, DJ Martinez. And guesting tonight is a guy that you'd never see. I felt like it was time to finally bring him back. It's Austin, the Day Ghost.
How's it going? I feel like it's been forever since I've been on this show, though, so...
That's true.
That's at least something.
I thought people were probably kind of tired of seeing your face, honestly.
Probably. Here, I'll just leave now.
And then I was like, I don't know, maybe there's folks that only watch the Captain Logan Show that haven't seen Austin's new glasses yet and would want to come in and be like, oh my god, look, he's got glasses now.
Oh, it's that guy in all those other videos I don't watch because he's in them.
Or they'll be like,
my one safe haven.
Or they'll be like, who's that guy? That other person Cap's always doing videos with, he doesn't wear glasses.
Not at all. And he's always in front of that big red wall. I can't recognize this guy at all. He's in front of a living room of some kind.
Yeah, exactly. I'm completely different now.
Yeah, you haven't had your regular backdrop for the last 3 or 4 videos, I think.
I think just last night's one.
Oh, is that all it was?
It's good that you're
Well, we made 2 videos last night. I got very used to that background.
That is true. That is true. I could have switched it up too. I don't know why I specifically set up here again, but...
That's all right. You know, consistency. It's like continuity.
Exactly.
I got new glasses too just last week, and I feel like mine are somewhat similar to yours. I wasn't copying you on purpose.
I'm sure.
Well, you know, married couples, they start to look alike after a while.
Oh, God.
That's a good point, yeah. I guess... does that mean I'm married to multiple people? I don't even know what to do with that. Anyway, everybody, welcome to the show. Thanks a lot for being here. Tonight we're doing a news roundup for our lead-in topic, so we're going to chat about at least 3 big pieces of geeky and superhero pop culture news that happened this week. We're going to talk about the whole drama with, and I don't usually talk about drama on this channel, but I think this one's pretty important. Talking about what's going on with Warner Brothers almost axing Coyote Vs Acme, a movie that I, by the way, have been really excited about and didn't realize how close it was to done. I didn't realize that it nearly came out already, and then they got it off the schedule for Barbie. Like, it was almost done enough to come out back then. I didn't know all of that until all of this happened, and it's not a thing that we've really talked about at all on the channel. Austin, since that movie is actually going to happen now, the best thing for it is probably this drama, because most people I knew didn't even realize that was coming out. There hasn't been, trailers or anything for it, but there wasn't any kind of buzz around it at all. It was very strange.
Well, it's clearly been sitting on a shelf for a long time because there's a whole thing in the Suicide Squad where Rick Flag has like a rabbit on his shirt and it was supposed to be Wile E. Coyote, and they switched it because Gunn didn't want it to look like an advertisement for this Wile E. Coyote movie he was working on. Wow,
that's really interesting. No, I mean, up until just a couple of weeks ago, or maybe even last week, I thought it was still in like pre-production. I didn't even think it was shooting yet. I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I are the only people I know that even knew it was happening.
Yeah, exactly. And when they announced it was canceled, I was like, okay, the new Salem's Lot's getting canceled next, right? Because that's been sitting on a shelf for like 2 years now, and they just announced it's going to streaming instead of theatrical. So I was like, that's going to be next.
I didn't even know that was happening. Well, anyway, so we're going to chat about that a little bit for you, and we're also going to talk about the trailer for the most anticipated PG-13 superhero movie next year, because it's the only one, shockingly. It's Madam Web, and then I can't wait. I'm so excited about that movie. It's gonna be absolutely wonderful. I dare say I'm more excited about that even than I was Blue Beetle. And then we're also going to talk just real briefly about the possibility and likelihood of Pedro Pascal playing Mr. Fantastic. I thought this was an absolute done deal. Apparently it's not. You've got some outlets calling it rumor still, and a lot of others saying that Disney is chasing him and that he's trying to decide if he wants to do it or not. The first thing I saw on it was, it's confirmed, it's definitely happening. So it's somewhere in there. I don't usually report on rumors, but I kind of think that that's ultimately what's going to happen, unless he just decides not to sign up for it at the last minute. But that looks like I don't know. Do you agree, Austin? Like a 90% probably likely done deal.
Probably, yeah. I mean, we've been kind of run around on the FF a few times now.
That's true.
Who knows at this point?
Anything could happen at this point. But yeah, I added that to this list when I thought it was definitely going to happen. So we won't spend a lot of time on that. Great and Powerful Dodd there just put in a $5 super chat. Would you read that real quick, Austin? Or DJ? Sorry, DJ is here.
Sure. Hey guys, the Great and Powerful Dodd, $4.99. The Silver and Black movie suddenly doesn't sound so bad.
We'll talk about this here in a little bit, of course. But sorry, DJ, I've been so used to modding my own comments lately, and I've been trying to really keep up with them more and not wait too long before they go away. That immediately I was just like, we can answer that super chat real quick. And then I was like, oh, that's right, I'm doing the Captain Logan show.
Yeah, this is you basically do like 7 Captain Logan shows a week. There's just one that has me on it.
Sure, yeah, basically. Not really. I mean, it's a different format. It's a different flavor.
Yeah.
But we are, not to say that Austin and I don't go off on tangents when we're doing reviews. Like, when you see an hour and 15-minute request, about 45 minutes of that is review. But responding to that, Austin, I've been seeing a lot of talk online that it's just surreal that there's even proof now that movie has been filmed and is definitely going to happen and come out. It feels like a Silver and Black. It feels like the Aunt May movie. It was like just all these goofy random things that they announced where you're like, that sounds stupid. They like there's no way they would release that. And as odd as Venom without Spider-Man was, that felt like a thing that could maybe happen because Venom is, Marvel's most popular character. And then you had Morbius, which was a lot weirder, where it's like, surely they're not going to make just a standalone Morbius movie. But like, you could kind of see it if somebody did it right, where like you could kind of see how that could maybe be a box office draw if you did it correctly. And then you had Kraven, which hasn't even come out yet. And you're like, really, Kraven? And then Madam Web. That's on a whole other tier. That is a horse of a different color. Where you're like, there's no way they make that. There's no way they do the teen B horror version of Madam Web, but here we are.
And we are firmly in Gotham territory, right? Smallville. Like the entire Spider-Man universe is going to exist before Spider-Man.
What's even worse, because Gotham at least had a kid named Bruce Wayne in it.
Well, he might be somewhere. We don't know. There's a Peter somewhere.
I think there's a possibility that this is the movie that finally confirms that Spider-Man exists in this universe, but not until the very end or the after credits.
Well, there's 6 other Spider-Men in it, so we might as well. Like, we're catching up on all the Sony movies not having superheroes in it because we're adding a whole team of them here.
Well, at this point, he's going to be inspired by a bunch of girls wearing Spider-Man suits. He's going to be like, that's a good idea. I should make Mike's costume look like that.
Hey, there's this villain that went around and like murdered a bunch of people, and I'm gonna just make my suit look exactly like him.
Yeah, what if I combined both of those costumes? I'd have the perfect suit.
We're getting way ahead of ourselves. Let me introduce the show real quick, and then we'll get into each of those things separately. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for watching live. Thanks for watching after the fact if you're doing that as well. After we get done with the lead-ins, and it may be most of the first hour because we've got so much to chat about here, and I could see us getting really in the weeds with at least 2 of these things. But as always, we are going to do Ask Me Anything as well, especially in that second hour. If there's something that you would really like me to talk about and you want to guarantee that it gets talked about on the show by the 3 of us, these other 2 handsome fellows as well, you can leave a super chat in any dollar amount. And again, we will absolutely make sure and spend a little bit of time, and sometimes a lot more time than I probably even ought to, on your topic or your concern, your question, your angry beef, whatever it is you want to talk about. And within reason, we'll talk about anything you want us to, especially geeky stuff, but you certainly don't have to do that. We want to thank you just for being here, and if you want to leave a regular question in the comments, we will try to get to a few of those as well, and at any time, you can put those in, and DJ will be keeping track of those and collecting them, because he's a collector just like I am, but he collects weird things that don't even physically exist, like NFTs. Just consider your
questions NFTs.
Consider your questions NFTs. That's what DJ collects.
Yeah, they have just as much value.
Make sure to tag them. Make sure to tag at DJ Martinez or at NFT Collector. He will respond to any of those things and more. I am sure. Okay.
NFTs by color. I'm starting a sister channel.
Tomorrow night, Austin and I are gonna take the epic plunge.
Oh God, don't remind me.
And we're gonna do a blind watch party on a thing that we cannot bring ourselves to stomach trying to watch without talking over it. We're gonna do She-Hulk by popular demand. We did a super chat goal last month, and we met it, and that means that Austin and I have to watch all of She-Hulk in one evening and talk about it as what we're seeing as we go. I think it will be easier to do, having not seen any of it yet, but just from word of mouth, what people have told me. I think it will be easier to talk over and get through in that way, Austin, than the last thing we did like this when we did Secret Invasion, because that was just boring and bland and hard to look at. And I mean, She-Hulk is going to be hard to look at in another way, I think, because that CG looks terrible.
It'll be
what I've seen of it.
versus annoying, I think.
And I'd rather, and those rhyme too, but I think I'd rather have annoying over boring. But that's having not seen it yet. I mean,
Yeah.
I think there'll be more cause for like outrage.
Should the next he said there'll be more cause for outrage, but that'll be more fun for us to do and people to watch, I think.
Yeah, then just like I have nothing to say about this because it's just people sitting on a train.
Yeah, I mean, I think you saw the brain cells disintegrate. I think you saw my eyes roll out of my head onto my stomach, and I had to pick them up and put them back in.
I want someone to do a supercut of how many times you questioned why you were doing it that night. Like, I feel like you said, "Why are we doing this?" or "We should stop doing this."
That's a drinking game, absolutely. Well, and a lot of that was me feeling like, because I'm always very self-conscious of the audience, and I don't want to waste their time at least any more than I'm just naturally going to do. Yeah. And so a lot of that wasn't just like, oh God, woe was me, I'm having to sit through this. It's we can't make a product out of this. And watching it ahead of time wouldn't have helped.
My favorite part of that was you like having that sudden realization that Maria Hill died, where it was like, oh yeah, this happened, and like no reaction.
She was in denial.
Yeah.
The way it's shot, really I couldn't even tell who it was at first. I didn't know that's who died. You were like, Cap, that was a big giant plot twist that just happened, or a big plot point, a big moment. Why do you have no reaction? And I'm like, I think what I said was, I got a microphone. I said, wait, was that Maria Hill? And he was like, yeah, that was Maria. I was like,
surely she comes back.
No, that is what I said. I was like, surely she comes.
Or she's a Skrull.
We've gotten rid of her out of the MCU. I thought she had to be a Skrull. No, that didn't happen.
Yeah, I kind of wish Austin
they subverted expectations. It was amazing.
Didn't tell you that it was true and that you were just left guessing the entire show, because that would have been funnier if you waited 7 episodes and at the end you're like, she's dead. She is dead.
I might have been gullible enough to buy it too, where he would have been like, hey, did you see what just happened? No, what? Maria Hill, really? No, that was a Skrull. Oh. All right.
See, I was worried that we'd completely forget about it and it would just never come up again.
Hey, Austin, next time we do a super chat goal show like that to binge watch something, and the thing I'm about to say couldn't be the whole season because we just couldn't do the whole thing in a night, but I don't know, you want to do it with something more fun for you, like Iron Fist?
Oh, oh God, certainly.
It would be kind of surreal and interesting to go back and do it with Defenders.
Yeah,
because I saw that one time and I don't remember much about it.
It's pretty boring.
Yeah, there's a reason you don't remember.
Okay, all right.
It's like Winter Soldier dragged out for 8 hours, and Daredevil is Cap, and Winter Soldier's Elektra.
All right. Well, I'll pick something more outlandishly bad then.
Or something good.
Next time we do that.
Would
I guess
work
we can
too.
do it for something. I don't think we'd be as likely to meet the super chat when people were like, no, we want to see you suffer. That's what they really want, Austin.
Great and powerful Don with another super chat.
Well, I mean, do you want to go ahead and read it?
Sure. He says, She-Hulk, Secret Invasion, Madam Web, Craven. That kind of rhymed. Cap, I'm scared for your health.
Oh, Don, don't act like you're not going to also watch those movies. I'm kidding.
That's kind of like a little
don't feel like
drop.
you have to do that.
He dropped a bar there a little bit. That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah. It was kind of rappy.
You should keep that going. Superhero.
Cap, drop a beat,
rap.
and then DJ rap that super chat.
Captain Logan, drop a beat. No, you should be scared for my health, and we should be scared for the health of superhero movie fans in general that have just continued to hang on to the bandwagon and watch the train fall off the tracks. I'm hoping things turn around, obviously. I think, Austin, there was a point I meant to make last night on our superhero movie history video. We did part 5 of our impromptu superhero movie video, and wow, he really is making a found footage film. Look at that.
Yeah, he had to go punt his dog out of the house.
Yeah, I gave it a good kick. I was like, get out of here.
So, do you remember how I suggested that every 4 years, like president elections, superhero movies have a sea change? I think 2024 might sort of be another one of those, where you have a year that hardly has an MCU movie, and almost all of the rest of them are hard R, just for adults, like anti-hero superhero movies. That'll be new. That's never happened before. And when I say sea change, I just mean it might influence things moving forward if anything does really well. Or it could just be a really strange year that everybody kind of forgets about.
Well, yeah, it's going to be a really weird year because we have Deadpool 3, we have Joker 2, which is a musical. And obviously, like, you have weird stuff with Deadpool where, like, the company's changed. And then you have a new Hellboy reboot and then 2 Sony movies. It's just a really strange year.
It's too bad that there's not a DC movie next year. Well, I guess there is with Joker, but there's not a DC EU movie. But I guess Joker still counts. So here's what's weird. Just with Joker and Deadpool 3, you could technically count it for that thing we were talking about where all 4 of the big old companies all have a movie out, because Deadpool 3 is 3 of them all by itself. Because it's MCU, Fox X-Men, and I guess it's just 2. Why was I thinking 3? Where was my brain going with that?
Really had to go in there.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, what?
It's
I mean, Elektra?
no, because you got
Ryan
sorry.
Reynolds'
I don't
own
know what. Yeah, I don't know what I'm thinking.
The Elektra universe.
Well, what were the 4 we kept talking about? It's
Fox, Marvel, Sony, and DC.
Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, Sony doesn't have one in. I guess that's where my brain was. Where I was
Unless
like,
Ghost Rider shows up.
But Sony will have a movie. So with just that movie, we still have Fox X-Men in there. So we still will have the 4. That's weird. And Sony will have 2 of them.
Possibly 3, because Venom 3 is supposed to be next year, but I have doubts that actually happens.
Do you think that's even filmed yet? I mean, it's weird.
Yeah. They announced today it went back to filming, so they've already filmed something.
Okay, it could come out next year then.
Ooh, well, which ball of goo is he going to fight this time?
The weirdest.
All of the goo.
I can't wait to find out. I hope it's Planet of the Symbiotes.
6
There's no way, but that's what I hope they shot. Oh, the whole movie is on really crappy green screen.
I hope the lobsters come back from the first one. That's who he's fighting the whole time. They get like genetically mutated.
They're like, this time we're gonna eat you, Venom. Let's see how you like it.
The lobsters all get their own symbiotes.
There you go.
We find out that lobster is the other thing that the symbiotes can bond with.
Well, we find out there was originally like a war between the planet of the lobsters and the planet of the symbiotes, and then both crash landed on Earth, which is why they're both there.
Oh wow!
Something with that.
They should rip off Star Trek 4 and have a giant lobster probe that shows up.
Exactly.
Oh, space. And it just makes like tapping noises.
This is Morse code.
Yeah, exactly. It's got big pinchers. Yeah, that sounds great. Well, anyway, let's go.
Venom can be like, "Oh, I can't beat these lobsters," and then Craven will be like, "Don't worry, I've hunted many a lobster in my day."
But yeah, I've said this before, but the last, especially even 6 or 7 years, so much stuff has happened that we couldn't have begun to predict. And it feels like we live in like the weird topsy-turvy alternate like mirror universe. And next year is going to be massively part of that if Sony has 3 movies. Like that's the kind of history I never thought they would make. And one of them isn't even a Spider-Verse movie. Like Sony won't even have a movie out that people want to see. Those are 3 movies nobody asked for. I mean, I don't know how Venom 2 did at the box office. Obviously, that first movie was like weirdly successful, and so I guess it must have done well enough that they greenlit another one, and they built the whole universe around it.
I think it did like 700 million, something like that.
That's not okay. How are we allowing? Again, we are in the friggin' mirror universe of superhero movies. How are we allowing that?
How are we allowing that?
Did you see that movie, Austin?
At home, not. No,
I know, but have you seen it?
I've seen it twice, unfortunately.
Oh, who made you watch that again? It wasn't me this time.
It was family both times.
Oh.
And then the second time I watched it with my grandparents, my granddad was like, "Oh man, I normally hate these superhero movies, but this one was quite the movie."
You told me about that.
I was like, really?
Yes. They're tapping into something with those movies that doesn't appeal to me, but some people love it.
Hey, I had more fun watching that first Venom movie with you than anybody else.
Oh yeah, it was great. We were on another level that night. I don't know what we tapped into. We were on the movie's level.
I don't think I was even
drinking.
Into
whatever they were smoking.
No, we just were on the same wavelength with it for that one viewing. Dodd is trying to get us back on track here with his super chat.
All he wants us to talk about is Madam Web. Well, we can start there. We can start at that trailer. That's totally cool. Right.
So Great and Powerful Dodd 199. So Madam Web trailer. Why?
Well, Dodd, I don't know if you know how Hollywood marketing works, but when you make a movie, you got to put a trailer out so that people know what it is and they want to go see the movie. That's why there's a Madam Web trailer.
Can we just do that for the rest of the show? Just take everyone's questions super literally and misread them? Because that sounds great.
No, but no offense to Dodd. I'm sorry for making fun of you, but I have been seeing exactly this comment where like I keep seeing thumbnails where like why, and then it's something in the title about the Madam Web trailer, and I'm like, and I know what people actually mean, but what it sounds like is that people can't understand why there's a trailer for this movie, and I'm like, well, you're burying the lead. Why is there a movie? But anyway, I digress. No, I share that sentiment, obviously, and it's like I said earlier, it's almost more baffling because actually I have a theory, Austin. I think I know exactly why specifically that character was chosen, but. Mm-hmm. And I think it's for the same reason Morbius was chosen. But I really do, and I'll get to that in a second. But the real question is, how on earth did it actually get off the ground with some of these other preposterous ideas got buried, like the 15 Joker movies that DC almost made a few years ago? But Austin, I think it's... Well, and you can even say the same reason Venom gets made. Craven is maybe like one of these things is not like the other with this. I don't totally know why that over some other things. But you look at those 3 characters, and what big thing do they all have in common? Avia Rod thinks they need to be made because they were big parts of the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, which he produced. I think it has everything to do with the 90s Spider-Man cartoon.
Yeah, it is possible.
I think Craven was in as many episodes as Morbius was at the 90s show.
Well, and that could
roughly
have something to do with it, but Craven, I don't know if people look back on that show and one of the big things they think about is Craven. Like Madam Web was all over the last couple of seasons, And Morbius is actually one of kind of the standouts with that, just because some of the silly lines and the plasma and all of that, like at least on like a meme level. And even but like Morbius, I remembered, and when I was a kid, that was one of the things that stood out, and I was shocked when they made a Blade movie, where I was like, well, the only thing anybody knows that character from is the '90s Spider-Man cartoon. So at that time, Blade felt kind of like Morbius. They're like, really, you're making a Blade movie? That's crazy. And then it was really good. But I digress. I think it's just Avi Arad. I think he's picking characters that he remembers that they made toys of from that show. I think it's all it is.
Can we give Avi like an award? Like he's been doing this longer than Feige. He's been influencing the big budget superhero movies since 2002. He's in a marathon, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did they produce anything together, or has it always been split where he's on the Sony side and Feige is the Marvel Studios side? Like Marvel Studios before we had MCU.
I think it was always he was just on the Sony side, but I could be wrong.
Thomas
like
Lowe,
I said, he got that big credit in No Way Home.
Thomas Lowe just wrote Felicia. Yeah, that's the thing is, Silver and Black is also like this though.
Well, Black Cat's a big part of the Kraven episode too.
Yeah, I mean, Silver Sable admittedly is not a thing that I think of as a standout, but she was in that show, and like
they could have done Silver and Silver and done Silver Sable and Silver Mane.
That's true. Or now that Sony and Marvel have the deal that they have, they might be able to sign something so they could have a triple Silver thing and get Silver Surfer in there.
I just wanted to name all these things like this.
I want that so that Silvermane and Silver Sable are riding around on the back of Silver Surfer surfboard. That's what I want.
And you can call it Silver Cubed.
Yeah, or just call it Silver. That sounds like a CW show.
Let's do everything should be named like this. Let's do a Silvermane and Hammerhead movie and call it Silver and Hammer, or the Silver Hammer. And let's do let's do Tomb and Tombs, and we can do Vulture and Tombstone.
Ooh, now he's thinking. Now he's cooking with gas. That's a great idea. But anyway, Austin,
it sounds like a sandwich shop.
Tomb and Tombs. I am not being facetious when I say this. I think now that I've seen that trailer, that Madam Web is the movie next year that I'm most looking forward to reviewing.
Good luck, because you're on your own.
Oh, you're not going to do it with me? I think it looks hilarious.
No, I think it looks super boring.
It looks like the Twilight sequels.
Yeah.
Like the visual effects are like on the Twilight visual effects level.
Well, it has exactly the same thing that Austin said when he and I watched the live-action Death Note movie a couple weeks ago. It looks like a Final Destination ripoff. And that's the last thing I was expecting from it. It's so weird. Like, I already thought it was weird that we were casting her super young and we were trying to make her like a cool, hot 20-something superhero. I'm like, that's what you're doing with Madam Web? Okay. And you're still calling her Madam Web? Like, what 20-something in 2023 is going to use the word Madam in their name? I don't even understand that. Like, she needs to at least be working with tarot cards or something. It's weird.
Yeah, I think they tried to be like, well, she's older than the rest because the like Spider Women are like all like 20-ish and she's like 40. But like,
wait, is she supposed to be 40?
Way older.
Now, to be fair, I watched
that actress is.
Okay, I thought the character looked 22.
Mm-hmm.
But I was looking at it on my phone. To be fair, I've not watched it on anything larger than my phone yet.
That just means we're getting old, Cap, when we can't when 40-year-olds look super young.
Is that all it is? Yeah, because boy, I had that thought when I did that video with Vince the other day, where I shot that thumbnail, or I made that thumbnail, and I just looked at Vince and I was like, dude, you and I are getting old. And he was like, yeah, but I was like, But I guess it is true that men look more distinguished with age, because I think we both look better now than we did when we were in our 20s. But like, we're both starting to get, kind of like speaking of Silver, kind of peppery in our beard and stuff. And I was like,
Silver Fox. There we go. There's another one.
There's a lot of Silver people in Marvel. It's true. But anyway, Austin. Okay, so did you? So you didn't think she looked like she was early 20s? Or do you just...
Well, I mean, I don't think she looks like she's that much older than them, but I just know because of the actress.
Okay, fair enough.
I thought she looked like she was in her 30s.
Yeah. My biggest takeaway, though, is in the Craven movie trailer, there was like that whole thing where it's like, oh, the spiders in the jungle or whatever. And then in the trailer for this, it was like, oh, I got powers from spiders in the Amazon. So apparently it's just becoming a thing.
Which was clearly a dubbed line because she's like talking to them in the scene, and then it cuts to like something else, and it's like voiceover dialogue.
Yeah.
It make it seem like she's telling it to them. It's so bad.
I also think this is the kind of setup stuff for whatever the hell they're going to do as like a team up thing.
Yeah.
Because we're doing Ezekiel as the main villain, and there's no way they don't do like a Moreland team up movie, right?
Yeah.
I love that we couldn't have Venom with a spider.
Can't wait.
There's no Spider-Man for him to fight, but we can have a guy who looks just exactly like Spider-Man with the same eyes and webs and everything.
Well, and the girls have that too, though.
CW costume, like, he looks terrible.
But like all the Spider characters,
the trailer,
all the Spider characters have Spider-Man masks, except I guess Madam Web doesn't have a costume.
When Julia Carpenter's Spider-Woman costume has the spider on it too.
Yeah, so all these characters. So I'm convinced that the idea, and I said this to Austin yesterday, I'm convinced that what's happening here, whether anybody else has thought of it or not, that's, involved in making these things, is that we have a adjacent Spider-Man universe to other universes with Spider-Man in them, where the idea of Spider-Man holds the universe together. There just is no Spider-Man. And like that's why the portal at the end of No Way Home opens up and Venom has to deal with it, because when I'm watching that movie, I'm like, but why is it even tapping into that world? It's not about Spider-Man. We've never seen him. And then, because the whole thing was about people knowing or not knowing that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And then I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, so it's part of the Spider-Verse because spiders keep causing things. And it feels like they've, at the very least, even if you're not going to do a Peter Parker movie in this universe, I can't even believe we're having this conversation. It's just preposterous. But even if you're not going to have that, we've done it all backwards, because all you had to do was have this stupid thing first, and then, and I'm saying this obviously retroactively, and then at least Venom would have had some sort of inspiration for his eyes to look like they're in a Spider-Man costume.
That's just how they look on his planet, man. Why you gotta be prejudiced against Venom eyes?
I mean, why is Morbius even in this universe? That's the one movie that has nothing to do with spiders so far.
No.
There's nothing spidery in that, except there's an after-credit scene where Michael Keaton is talking about Spider-Man. That's it.
Which I just like to imagine that never comes back, but just somewhere in this universe, a vampire man and a bird man
just
running around robbing things because Spider-Man.
I don't know if anybody else had this, but the vibe I was getting from that trailer, and of course everybody's making this point, and it's exactly like the Venom movies and Craven. It looks like a thing that was made in 2002. Like, nobody asked for it. It's completely not like
and on the CW
self-aware. It's but it also has definitely the hallmarks of Avi Arad, right? But as if it happened even before he made any of the movies he made. You know what I mean? Like, this feels almost pre Ghost Rider or something. But and I don't know if anybody else had this, but I got this feeling somehow from what we saw of her performance in that trailer, that they were like, let's do a female Spider-Man and look at Jessica Jones. That was kind of the feeling I had watching it.
Yeah.
I mean, see that somewhere like way back when the script started.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just like, why would you take Madam Web and just diminish her crazy powers down to just she sees the future? Like you said, like whatever it's called, a Final Destination.
It's Final Destination, yeah.
Like, is that just the beginning of her powers, and then she's gonna like tap into the
she get the big
stuff?
like seed thing and like
yeah, she gets a
like,
seed thing. Patrick Stewart comes in for 5 minutes and teaches her how to make a sweet ass chair.
Gives it to her. I'm honestly hoping that we get that at the end, just because it would just be hilarious and marvelous. I hope some horrible catastrophe happens to her where she's stuck to it.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Where she's in that suit at the end, or maybe she ages like 75 years and is played by a different actress at the end.
Maybe
they won't do that.
She turns into a giant, and then like all of her hair flies off. And...
Austin, I'm gonna make a prediction that is probably not going to ultimately be accurate, but I can hope, I can dream. I don't think it's gonna be boring. I think it's gonna be really stupid and funny stupid. And I think it'll be less boring than even Morbius, which does have a couple of really funny scenes, but overall I thought was just by the numbers and boring.
Maybe, but I also have that with Venom. Like, I think Venom's a movie with like 3 or 4 funny scenes, and the rest is boring. So, we'll see.
You don't like watching old ladies walk through airports several times and then continue walking forever?
I mean, normally I do, but in real life, like in a movie, that's boring.
Yeah, you got to be there. It's part of the thrill.
Exactly. Part of the thrill of the chase.
I also think, looking at those spider suits from the end of that trailer, that this could be in the same universe as the Spirit Halloween movie.
It does look like a fan film made after people that watched Spider-Verse and liked it.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is so weird.
Part of like the Lotus.
Like, we still can't get away from that. It's like, this is the ticket with Spider-Man now. You got to have a bunch of people in Spider-Man costumes. That's what sells now. After we've done it both in animation and live action, and it was really popular.
Yeah, the more spider suits, the better.
When the Julia,
I remember when I created the Spider-Verse.
The Julia Carpenter Spider-Woman suit is like the worst spider I've ever seen. Where it's like the arms, you know, or the legs on the spider come up like that, right, like normal. But then like the 8th leg like grows out of the leg, like it's really, it's like an AI put it together. It's really weird.
I'm also surprised that they're not. Maybe I shouldn't be with the way the Sony movies have happened so far, because there hasn't been a lot of like trying to look super progressive and trendy and stuff with those. But like, they've got a mostly female cast in that movie, and the trailer is not pushing that at all. They're not like, look at us, we're finally getting to, you know, a big female Spider-Man movie, or like, look how we got to, because it's weird. Sony has not been doing the team thing, but this movie does look like that, where it's like it's like a team of superheroes, like led by Madam Web maybe. But I'm a little, I guess I'm somewhat surprised that they didn't take that angle this time, of like, look at us, we've got lots of girls in our movies, so you should come see it. And then we'll have yet another, you know, not, I mean, we haven't seen it yet, but we're probably going to have another not very good female-led superhero movie, of which there are almost none, and if you're Austin, there are none. No good ones.
Yeah.
Because I like Wonder Woman and Austin doesn't.
Oh.
Whoa, what just happened?
I thought you left because I said Wonder Woman.
Oh, yeah, no, I was so enraged.
He was outraged.
Outraged. No, I at least have WandaVision. I have something.
Yeah, but it's not a movie.
No.
But that's fair.
It's longer than a movie.
That's fair.
Gab wants to make sure that you have nothing, Austin.
No. So I'm just saying that technically, if you're... I'm actually trying to throw Austin a bone. If you're Austin, there are still no good female-led superhero films. Like, theatrically released superhero films. It's never happened. Yeah.
I do feel like this has the problem with, like, all live-action Spider-Sonyverse movies where, like Venom, and I assume, like, Morbius, I haven't seen it, but, like, it all is so dark. It seems like every scene takes place at night, even though there are daytime scenes and indoor scenes, but they still feel like they're...
Well, that's one of the things that makes it look like a fan film, Austin, or DJ. Right?
Yeah, this is really throwing you off, having us both here at the same time. You're never going to get our names right. But yeah,
if
like
only when it like went weird
so
for a second, if only we switched places, would be even more awkward.
Yeah, I think I'm going to start putting everybody's names above their heads just so that I can remember who they are. Hey, Austin, would you...
DJ?
No.
You're
I'm actually talking to you.
I think we're asking DJ for the next question.
No. Is it okay if I move on now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Austin, would you break down real briefly the situation with Coyote versus Acme? Just kind of get us started on that, and then we can give our opinions about it.
Well, they made a Wile E. Coyote movie, and then WB done canceled it, and then people freaked out, and their other directors were like canceling their meetings with WB, and then Zaslav threw his hands up in the air and went, "Okay, we'll shop it to somebody else." And there you go.
Yeah, the response to this was really interesting, and a part of me was surprised that more of this didn't happen back when Batgirl and then some other things got shelved, completed or almost completed things. Like, that Scoop movie was completely done. Batgirl was like 75-80% done. And the couple other things they canceled, I think, were at various stages, but nothing was like pre-production or just filmed and the effects weren't done. Like, they were all in the editing bay and getting close, I think. And I'm a little surprised that more actors and directors and producers didn't turn their nose up really hard at that and cancel meetings with Warner Brothers back then, like just happened with this, because we found out that the day after that, a bunch of people just canceled their meetings with Warner's and were like, if they're doing that kind of crap, we don't even want to work with them anymore. And I wonder if part of the reason is just Batgirl was direct to HBO Max, and this was actually supposed to release theatrically.
I also think it helps that one of the big studio heads at WB wrote it, so there's probably some leaning there too.
Yeah, so you think Gunn has a lot to do with this?
I'd imagine so. I'd imagine he's part of it.
Yeah, so for people that don't know, James Gunn actually wrote the screenplay.
He's story by. He didn't write the screenplay.
Oh, I thought he flat up wrote it. Okay.
Yeah, no,
that's why I'm glad you're here. Yeah, I thought he wrote it.
No, I did for a long time too, but it's just story by.
Was it his pitch in the first place, though?
I think so, but I could be wrong. It might be him and someone else.
I know the idea came from some like mock article that was written at some point, like several years ago.
I'm not sure about that.
Some cute online article that was like, Wile E. Coyote is all pissed off because all of his all the things he buys from Acme to kill the Roadrunner don't work, so he's gonna go sue Acme now. And somebody looked at that and was like, that's a good idea for a movie, and it is. Mm-hmm. And it drives me crazy that one of the only things that I'm legitimately excited about almost didn't even come out.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's like, of course, this actually sounds like a really cool, good, creative, clever idea, and naturally, it has to almost not come out and now be mired in controversy. I mean, everything these days seems like it's somehow mired in controversy, but this is one of those things before it even comes out.
Yeah, and there were some screenshots that came out like a few months ago now, where it was like just like a regular court drama, and then you just have Wile E. Coyote like in the defense seat.
Yeah,
I'm like, well, that's funny.
No, it sounds hilarious. It sounds fantastic. I think John Cena is supposed to be in it.
Yeah, I think he's the Wile E. Coyote's lawyer, or he's the other lawyer.
Yeah, I think he's supposed to be Wile E. Coyote's lawyer, and that it's supposed to be like an underdog story where like he's a crappy lawyer and he's never won a case, and that's all Wile E. Coyote could get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Importantly, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's. I'll just put my 2 cents in with this real quick. It doesn't matter if it's good or not. It's really unfair. And I have this with Batgirl. I have this with all these other projects. It's really unfair to those people that these projects just get shelved and aren't coming out just for the sake of tax write-offs. And Warner's does not care how that affects these people's careers. And that's the part of it that really drives me crazy and ticks me off, and I'm glad that people are finally standing up to them over it. But I gotta ask you guys a big question. I don't understand the tax write-off thing, and like I'm not a big business guy. I don't understand the business side of some of these things as much as I'd like to, so maybe somebody in the comments can help me out with this. But explain this to me. So it's a $70 million film. That's all it cost to make. They didn't even spend a crazy fortune on it like they do with so many other things. And the tax write-off, as I read it, they were only going to get 30 of that back. So they're leaving $40 million on the table. Am I right about this, Austin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So explain to me why they're willing to take such a loss on this when pretty clearly, at least in my view, you either put it in the theater, and even if you give it little to no advertising budget whatsoever, there's no way it doesn't clear $70 million.
I don't know. There's been some movies bombing this year that are like that new Daisy Ridley movie made like not even $1 million. Like,
is that right?
Yeah, there's like I don't know that it would make $70 million with no advertising.
Okay, so it's got a.
But I see what you're saying. I feel like it could make more than 30.
But it's got brand recognition in a way that the movie you're talking about didn't. It's got star power better than Daisy Ridley right now. Seen as a bit of a bigger deal than she is at the moment. He's more bankable than she is at the moment.
Yeah. I could see it making $70 million, but I can also see it not. Is what I'm saying. I don't think it's a done deal, but it could make more than 30. I would think.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like the point I'm trying to make is it that much of a risk to release it? Like, I'm not understanding that. And at the very least, why didn't they do what they ultimately felt like they had to turn tail and do, which is just get somebody else to pay them back for it and put it on another service? Because they were already apparently trying to decide if they were going to put it in the theater or not. Because like I said earlier, it was supposed to come out the same weekend Barbie did, and then they took it off the slate for Barbie, and then they didn't know where to put it. And so they were like, maybe we'll put it on streaming. And I could see why they'd go, $70 million, I don't know if we can recoup that in streaming, so sell it to somebody, which is what they're being forced to do now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my assumption is that Daddy Zaslav was like, well, I'm stuck with this movie from this other regime. I don't know what to do with it. We need cash right now. We'll just take 30 million and boom.
Okay, but then here's the other
like, me no like cartoons.
No,
yeah, exactly.
But that's the thing. So they have been canceling a lot of cartoon projects, and that's worrisome. But they also just announced another fully 2D animated Looney Tunes cartoon film that's supposed to come out in the theater.
Yeah, and the first just like straight
animated
Looney Tunes.
You can't, DJ.
Too. No, we can't explain anything you're asking me. I don't know why you think I have the answers.
I know, I'm just kidding. Sorry, what, Austin?
I said, yeah, in the first fully animated like Looney Tunes movie, that's just not repackaged shorts.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And that sounds really cool too.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the big thing that made me baffled when this got scrapped and I thought we were never going to see it. As I'm like, they just announced a Looney Tunes movie.
I don't know.
Why do they think that's more marketable? Like, they can't think that, right? It doesn't make any sense. It just makes me wonder if there's some piece to this that we're not getting. And then the other part to this is the government is investigating them now to decide if what they're doing is even legal in shelving these kinds of projects for tax breaks. There's a congressman that is calling it, and he's been doing a lot of like antitrust stuff. And so he's looking into things like the Fox buyout and all of that, and he's like, is it he was it's not antitrust, but it's like anti-competitive.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think
is what he's calling it,
that system too, because
yeah,
he announced it right after Warner Brothers was like, "Yeah, we're writing this off for taxes." Whoops, never mind. I'm sure they're probably like, we should maybe look into this.
Well, yeah, he could be, because you're using it to drum up drama and like free advertising for your movie at that point.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a good call too.
Yeah, I mean, that's clearly, there's not any 5D chess going on because, I mean, unless there was and they weren't expecting the backlash they got, but I mean, they got so much backlash that they burned bridges over this. Like, there's people that were going to make movies with them that won't now.
That could be their new thing, though. Like, a week before Legacy comes up, they can be like, oh, we're writing it off for taxes. And then like 3 days before it's supposed to come out. Never mind, it's in theaters in 3 days. Go see it.
Yeah. No, it's super shady. Well, and it smells fishy, and I think is as much, and by saying as much, I mean not at all a conspiracy as the stupid Sonic the Hedgehog thing, where it's like that movie probably would not have done the numbers it did even if it had the decent Sonic the Hedgehog model in the first place, but because there was so much controversy, and then they turned around and did the right thing and actually made Sonic look like Sonic, then it was like a phenomenon. This is gonna have that in a similar kind of way, but I don't think they possibly could have planned it. That makes Zaslav too much of a genius to me. Like, I don't know if I buy that. If it's great, I said this to Austin earlier off camera, if the movie is, and also, we didn't mention this part of it, but the movie has been screened for audiences, and it got like 90% audience scores. Like, people really like it, and like, I haven't seen it yet, obviously.
Coming out too, like Lord and Miller.
Yeah, like, we'll see if it's
and Tom Cruise,
James Gunn.
We'll see if it's actually as great as people are saying, but I think there's a good chance that it is. It's built on a really good premise in the first place, and it's gonna really suck for Zaslav, DJ, if this comes out and it's great and anybody remembers that stupid thing he said earlier about we care about quality now.
Yeah, we can't release that horrid Bad Girl movie that we made. I watched that. It was terrible. So
yeah, but he can't even say that about this. He can't be like, oh, it was unreleasable. I hope nobody finds out about those 90% audience scores.
We're not releasing it. Why? We need money.
You know, Disney has been getting a lot of heat lately, which is an understatement, for good reasons, and I'm glad that's happening to them. But I'm glad that Warner's is not getting away with this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I think people have been looking at Disney and dogging on Disney so hard with just like failure after failure and some of their shady practices and stuff that they're not looking at what some of the other houses are doing. And yeah, it's good that Warner's is going to be able to get away with that. I'm going to go as far as to say I hope it actually, again, I'm not for overregulation or whatever, but I hope that this actually kind of does become illegal. I don't think those big companies should be allowed to do that, and I hope at the end of the day Warner's ends up being forced to put out all the stuff they shelved. I really do. Like I think there's a good chance that we ultimately do get to see Batgirl after this. I think in a couple of years that movie comes out now, in some form.
Oh, didn't they say they burned the masters or whatever?
Oh,
not that you literally burn them anymore because everything's digital. But
I forgot about that part.
Well, they burned the computer that they were on.
Yeah, they just blew up the computer. The hard drive is exploded.
Does anybody believe that? Does anybody believe there's not a backup of that movie somewhere? Because I don't.
I believe there's a disgruntled employee that stole a copy. It has it somewhere.
Some janitor.
He's going to be selling it like the Star Wars Christmas special and back.
Well, that's the thing is, and that's why I said in some form, because like I said, I love it if they were forced to release it, but if they don't actually have it anymore, but somebody saved it, and it becomes illegal to do this, it would mean that technically, I think, you wouldn't have the same legal thing you do now, where if they take the tax write-off, they actually can't, like nobody can look at it, it can't be released. So I think maybe the leak would be more likely to happen after that. Maybe.
This is we're living in such a sad future. Like, I feel like some kid like me or you, Cap, or baby Austin was given like a monkey's paw situation in the 90s. And they're like, I want superheroes to be on every screen. I want them to be so popular. And then the monkey's paw made his wish come true. But then he's like, but they're going to be owned by the two worst companies in the entire industry. And they're going to destroy the film industry. And it's all your fault. It's all your fault, little 7-year-old Timmy, because you wanted this.
Well, the person I actually went to make that happen was Madam Web.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
That's why Madam Web made sure she had a place in this future.
Yeah. She's like, I'm gonna show up right at the end of it in the dystopian future,
and I'm gonna have the body that I want, not this frail old one.
I'm gonna look 23, but I'm gonna be 44. Hey,
boost my own ego.
We've got 5 minutes before the break. Austin, do you have any thoughts about the likelihood of Pascal as Reed Richards?
No. Pedro Pascal is everywhere.
He's too old.
Yeah.
He's too dang old. Like, this is going to be his first film, and he's like 50?
Yeah, you got a little bit of a Batman versus Superman situation going on there.
Yeah, you got to have a buffer. Like, he's got to at least have 10 years or 6 years to make a few films.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's so weird if they're chasing after him. That's really... I know he's big right now, but, like, he's...
It screams a safe bet situation like Cumberbatch. To me, where it's like he's kind of a draw, people know who he is. What I'm wondering is if they treat this like he's their big bankable star and then the other three are kind of no names.
Yeah, I'm just surprised we're not hearing about like all four at the same time. That's what I always assumed it would be. It would just be, by the way, here's the four.
Well,
or some convention, they bring them all out on the stage or something.
Yeah, or like, or even, you know, like these four people are about to sign, because that's what we have right now with Pascal.
Well, Austin, when you said that to me off camera, that's what made me think of this, where I'm like, you announce all four of them if they're all people you've heard of.
Yeah.
It's also possible that they haven't decided who they want for the other three yet, and they're doing it one at a time. Like that might be why they're doing it this way, and you know, not announcing them all at once. I also don't know if this is like a leak situation or if they actually want people to know that they're going after Pascal. I can never tell with these articles.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that too. Like when you say I'm surprised they didn't announce them all at once, did they announce this?
Mm-hmm. No, that's what I mean. Like, or even just, you know, hey, we've heard that they're in talks to sign off with like these four people. But...
Well, yeah, but it might be that if this is a leak situation, the person found out about this and not anybody else. I think, I don't know. True. And Marvel, I don't think has officially even commented on it.
I don't think so. No.
Connor says, "No, I want an older Reed and Sue." I see both sides to that. I really do. I mean, on the one hand, I'm glad if we don't have to do like another origin story situation. It'd be nice if they were just already together. They've had some history. I don't want a Reed and Sue that aren't married already. Really, especially having to wait this long to finally get it. By the way, it just feels really weird being in this place where I'm not even, at least at the moment, because of the way MCU has been going lately and how not invested I am. I wanted for so long Marvel to get the license back and to get to, you know, put Galactus in there, because it was always more about Galactus and Silver Surfer to me, but putting Galactus and Silver Surfer in their cosmic universe. And now the Guardians movies are done, and the big cosmic stuff that I was liking and cared about, you know, is going to be made by somebody else that might not, you know, be as interesting and do it as well. So I'm not as excited about any of this anymore, and it's really weird. Like I finally got what I wanted, and there's a lot of rumors about Galactus in this movie. I finally got what I wanted, and I don't care.
That's the monkey's paw.
I hate it. Freaking Madam Web.
I mean, yeah, I can see an older one, but I'm just thinking from like a business, just from like a business standpoint. Like if you want him to be like the new leader of, you know, the Marvel universe moving forward a little bit, you got to think about the future. And
think like about the future.
I don't want
you. Ain't got no future, Jack.
Are Franklin and Valerie gonna be like pushing 30 already? Like 26 years old?
No, they're gonna have them in this movie, and they're just gonna be really ambiguous as to how old Reed Richards is supposed to be.
Geriatric pregnancy, or maybe Reed Richards is chasing like super young Sue Storm. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's likely that she will be pretty young, and that they'll pretend like he's younger than he is. That's what I think they'll do. Don't you?
I mean, it's Hollywood. That's what we do. I mean, you thought Madam Web was 22.
Connor says, Pascal is a safe pick and not my first choice, but he's far from the worst option I've heard, and I like how old they're skewing.
See, I just want young Reed and Sue. Like, we didn't get a good version of that in the first place. Like, I don't want to skip a lot not stuff.
How dare you?
It's not going to be good anyways.
Iowan Graffad.
So that's not fair. Graffad is great. Revenge of Graffad, but Here's the thing, Austin. You are absolutely right. And for me personally, I just have the same thing with the Fantastic Four that I have with Spider-Man. Like, I much prefer, like, 30, 35 or middle-aged even. Because, like, that's the versions of those that I more grew up with and read.
I feel like skipping to them being married and maybe having kids is like what we did with Spider-Man, where it's like, okay, well, we did that other stuff. We don't want to build it out again. We didn't do it right in the first place. Like, I want to actually see that stuff.
Well, we put Spider-Man in high school, and you saw how well that turned out. Well, we'll do what happened. Well, we'll do
Don't
what we did
with... It's a monkey's paw.
We'll do what we did with Spider-Man, and they'll just never talk about their marriage or their kids at all, and they'll just they'll just be like there'll be no mention of it. Maybe they're married. Who knows?
You know what would be amazing? If they did the same thing that they did, like you said with Uncle Ben, but just arbitrarily they can never bring up the cosmic storm. How'd you get your powers? We don't talk about that. It was very sad and tragic.
In the third movie, they'll have some sort of origin.
Yeah.
In present day.
And Stan Lee, the mailman, will be the one that tells them to be superheroes.
CGI Stan Lee. You know, we shouldn't joke about this stuff because none of it sounds far-fetched anymore.
Because, see, if you say that, CG Stan Lee will be the actor they pick for Reed Richards.
Oh, my gosh.
And we'll get CG Kirby as the thing. Again, monkey's paw.
Dagan Spear says you all asked for it.
We're putting this into the universe.
Yeah, we really need to quit doing that. AMC, I almost mentioned this myself. He says, in fairness, Robert Downey wasn't terribly young when he was first cast as Iron Man.
Younger than Pedro Pascal.
By how much, though?
I don't know. I'll do my moderator research. Let me do a little research.
Like, he had to have been...
like 50 by, like, Iron Man 3, no?
I was going to say, he had to have been 42, 43. I don't know that he was much younger.
But Pascal will be near 50 by the time he gets to his first movie, is I think the difference.
Well, that's true, but you're talking 6-7 years.
Yeah. But will he want to... I don't know.
I'm just saying it's not a huge leap, but I hear what you're saying. With I don't know. I always think of those as middle-aged characters.
Like, and Reed Richards is also a more physically demanding role because really with Downey, he's gone.
It's just he just sits in a booth and records his head.
But you know what they're thinking, right? It's actually not a physically demanding role because everything he does will be CG. Stretchy arms.
I hope
but he still has to be on set going like this.
No, and
floating head, and then his whole body is CG.
50 is way too old to do this. I mean, that's all Iron Man had to do. He's got his.
No, he went like this, and then a CGI body went like that.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, he didn't do that much. And Thomas Lowe says Tony Stark is not a physical superhero, though. And I was going to make that point, but now I'm also thinking neither is Reed Richards if Marvel Studios is making him.
Maybe they'll do like a Miss Marvel thing, and he won't stretch. He'll have like glowy blue powers.
Okay, guys, let's go ahead and take a 3.5-4 minute break here, and we'll come back for part 2, and we're going to spend the entire second hour just responding to your questions. Whatever you guys want to talk about, any of the things we've already discussed, or anything else. Let me also plug real quick, and I meant to do this at the beginning, and I totally forgot. We are going to do Geeflution After Dark tonight on Patreon. We're going to hang out with folks for at least an hour, if not more, and we're going to attempt to do an interactive thing with you guys tonight and play some Jackbox. That's the hope. I don't know if it's going to work out, but we're gonna try that. We're gonna have Brandon here, and even if that doesn't work out, we'll
the way you said that.
What?
We're gonna have Brandon here, but even if that doesn't work out.
Well, I'm just saying if the game thing doesn't work out,
then
we'll have some fun conversation and stuff. Anyway, see you guys in just a little bit. Hey everybody, we're back. At least DJ and I are back. Hopefully we see Austin here in a second. It's time for the
dog came back for revenge.
Oh no. So like who was getting revenge earlier? Who did I say was getting revenge? I can't remember now. It was Wrath of somebody. I can't remember who it was. Anyway, there he is. Hello, Austin.
Hey, I'm back.
Welcome back, everybody. Always feels like we're jumping into a second show, especially when we spend the whole hour on the lead-in topics.
Well, especially because you guys often do 2 shows in a row.
We do. We're crazy.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do one really crazy long show.
Like tomorrow night, in fact.
Oh, I know. I can't wait. Quick play. I'm being
nice
facetious.
Segue.
Yeah. I'd rather watch Madam Web. Tomorrow night we're gonna watch She-Hulk, and
he said with gusto.
And it's your fault. That's that's what we're doing tomorrow. Austin, I want to try to start as close to 8 my time if possible, if that's not too early for you.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm just dog sitting, so I'm just sitting here alone with the dog.
Oh, cool. Well, no, that'll be good. That'll waste some of that time for us. You know,
yeah.
The dog starts barking, you got to deal with that. It'll be a good distraction for you. It'll happen right at moments that are that are
he's
like
barking. I gotta miss this episode. I'll be right back.
I was gonna say it'll happen at the most like vomit-inducing moments. But I don't know. I mean, I don't expect to actually end up liking it or anything based on things people have told me. But I think it will likely be more fun for us to do at least than the last one of these we did.
Yeah. And this one I've at least seen episodes of because I started it.
So you know what you're getting yourself into.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen the first episode.
Are you okay?
I am now. It's been like 6 months, but it took a while.
That is a long aftertaste. Hey, real quick before we move on, I want to say thanks to everybody that came out last Thursday night for our big fundraising stream for the Superhero Rewind movie. We had a real big turnout, and we had an excellent take that night for the movie. You guys are fantastic, and I really, really appreciate everybody helping us out with that. I am hip deep into pre-production with that. I just finished the second draft of the movie last week, and we did a table read on Wednesday. Tuesday. Austin was there. We had Vince, we had Brandon, Jason, and myself. We did a read down of that. I filmed that, so some of that will be in special features when we get this thing out. I say special features. We'll do some kind of a featurette documentary thing that'll be for free on the channel, just like the movie will be. I got to be careful with my lingo because I don't want people to think that we're selling this movie. All of the proceeds are going directly into making the thing. And I should also say all the proceeds with streams that I'm doing specifically dedicated to that. And if you would like to donate to the movie, you can use my email address, which is in the description of that stream, and PayPal us directly, or just wait until the next time we do a stream. And in that stream and in the description under that, I've not put those things here. I might later on in the show notes. But there's a breakdown of all of the perks that you can get for the various donation levels, and we're doing it a little bit like a Kickstarter, but currently not through Kickstarter. If after 2 or 3 donation streams we feel like we still need more to make the movie happen, we may also do a small Kickstarter after that. Based on how that went, I don't know that we'll need one. We had a real good start. We've already raised $750 for the film. I'm hoping to get somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000 ultimately, but we've got time to raise that and to get all of our ducks in a row. So we're taking our time with it because we really want to do it right, and I don't want to have to rush anything with it. So we're going to start principal photography in April is my goal month right now, and in the interim we're going to be doing a lot of rehearsals. I'm going to be slowly getting material together. I told Austin about this the other day, but you guys don't know. Pierce is the guy who built the Spawn suit for Spawn Year, is doing costuming for this movie as well, and he just finished the initial mold for the superhero mask for the superhero costume that we're doing for this movie, and it looks really cool. I'm excited about it. The thing I'm most excited about is that I'm going to be able to breathe this time. That'll be great. Maybe I think I did actually mention that on stream somewhere. No, maybe it was with Vince. Maybe when I was talking to Vince, I brought that up. But anyway, so
was
Austin,
that your version of the I want to be able to turn my head?
That's exactly what it was. Yeah. I want to be able. Two things. I want to be able to see, and I want to be able to breathe. Just real. I know nitpicky
things. Are
things.
both overrated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's effective against dogs.
I've got a lot more that I've got to do in this movie physically than I did with some of what we shot with Spawnier. A lot of Spawnier was me sitting in a 10-pound latex suit in a chair pretending to write in a notebook. I didn't have to see for that, but with this, I'm absolutely going to have to. And not just that the eyes need to be pretty visible, the eye holes, but also I'm gonna need like corrective lenses. I haven't worn contacts in a decade. I'm getting contacts for this project because there's no chance I can get through it without them. So there's a lot of stuff like that. Little and big expenses here and there, and there's no doubt in my mind that I'm also gonna have to pull quite a bit out of my own pocket. But I'm just gonna see, how far we can go with this and make the movie give it as good a production values as possible. So anyway, that's the news with that. Austin now knows the whole story of the film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Get ready, everybody, to see the table read for a certain character that I play at the end. It's quite magical.
Oh God. I wanted to punch you in the face when you did that. It was funny, but I was like, God, Austin, seriously, this is a tender moment. You just ruined it.
Or made it better. From a certain point of view.
I am glad we have evidence. Because it was pretty funny. Anyway, Austin, let's go ahead and get to questions. Whatever folks want to talk about. And we're somehow already 20 minutes past the hour. So we'll try to, I can't say rapid fire, but we'll go a little quicker than usual. Go ahead, DJ.
All right. AMC Comics puts in, well, first let me get to this super chat that just popped up from Okay Great.
Hey, thanks. How you doing, man?
Have you seen any of the new season of Invincible?
That's dropped already? I didn't even know that. I knew it was coming soon. No, I haven't yet. Maybe I'll try to do that over Christmas break.
All right. Another $2.
That is a thing that I'll definitely watch because I did really, really like that first season, and it's crazy that it took as long as it did for it to come out, and I was a little impatient after I watched it. And, of course, a lot of people were a lot more impatient because it had been out a year already before I even saw it. And now I'm like, oh, that's out? So, yeah, I'll try to look at that. Connor, let me know if you're interested in reviewing that after the season's done. Because he and I did the first season. We both really liked it. So that is a thing I could see us doing.
And I could be wrong, but isn't that getting like a tick thing where like they're releasing like a bulk of episodes and then like the last 2 or 3 are coming later?
I don't know. I've not looked into it at all.
I could be wrong about that.
In fact, I knew they did like an Adam Eve short thing, and I thought that's all that had come out already. I didn't realize the season had started. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did that a few months ago, I think.
So if that's the case, then obviously I'll wait until it's all out before I weigh in on any of it, and I'll probably try to rewatch the first season again. Like I've seen that twice now. I mean, it's been a while. I don't even remember all the character names at this point, so I'll have to go back and look at it again.
Yeah, and I think Kirkman promised that like they're not going to have as long of a wait between seasons as the first 2. So we'll see.
That's good. And we talk about this all the time, but that's part of the problem with the dropping all at once streaming model. Is it's like movies where it's just such a commitment because you got all this time in between, and it's okay with like a 2-hour movie, and the sequel doesn't come out for 2 or 3 or 4 years because you can just right before it comes out sit down and watch it again, or if it's something you really like, maybe you watched it 3 or 4 times. But when it's television and you've got other things that you're watching, and you got 10, 13 hours, It's a lot harder to commit to stuff. It's why it's one of the reasons I don't finish a lot of things.
We got a second super chat, another $2 super chat here from Senior Sticks.
Thanks, man.
Now we have Sony vs. Spider-Man. Yes, Sinister Six.
I don't know what that means. Oh, he's saying like a Sinister Six with the Sony shared universe. Wouldn't it be really funny if they did a Sinister Six with these characters and they like either still never had Spider-Man,
or they had three
they
Spider-Man.
introduced Spider-Man in that movie? Like that's where Spider-Man finally shows up? Or what do you think will happen?
I'm still betting on them fighting Moreland and whatever that Sinister Six or whatever it is.
It would be preposterous for them to call it that, and yet they're all still just anti-heroes, or basically superheroes that kind of do bad things.
Well, it's just the Sinister Six and then the separation anxiety, all the symbiotes versus the Sinister Six. We still don't have Spider-Man.
You know, I feel like if I stopped watching all this stuff, I would not have separation anxiety. At all.
I haven't. I'm doing fine.
Austin, what do you think the odds are that they set up... Nah, that wouldn't happen. Because Sony's too proud somehow of these properties. I was going to say, what if Sony put together the Sinister Six, and then when they finally fought Spider-Man, it wasn't an MCU movie? So like it wasn't one that they introduced. It was just Tom Holland over an MCU.
Yeah.
Like, is that plausible?
Like, do you mean it's Tom Holland comes over for a Sinister Six movie, or do you mean like all these characters come in for like MCU Spider-Man 5 or whatever?
Yeah, I was thinking more of that.
Well, yeah, and they should do it, but they should only have like 5 villains, and one of them should sit in a bar the whole time and not actually interact with anybody else.
Agreed. And it'll be Morbius this time.
Just Jared Leto and what's his face who plays Venom, just Tom Hardy just sitting in a bar the whole time. That sounds like a good episode of Hot Wings.
Yeah. Eddie, I like this Morbius guy.
You know, one thing that I had to do with my movie, not to give too much away, but I have talked about this already before because of the perks that we're doing for donations. I had to come up with a lot of concepts and titles for horrible, awful superhero movies in the future. And I'm glad we're going to finally go ahead and get this movie shot, because I'm afraid that if we wait too long, more things are going to come out that are worse than anything I came up with. I can't even get exaggerated enough at this point. You know, like I tried to go as insane and possible. These things would never happen. And even as I was writing it, I was like, no, that's possible. I can't tell you guys yet, you know, what I came up with, but a few of them I'm like, boy, if I'd written this 20 years ago or even 10 years ago, you'd be like, well, that's just cartoonish. And none of it is now. All of it's possible.
I'm telling you, little Timmy, that monkey paw wish. All right, we got Darth Jaber.
Yeah.
As a $10 super chat.
Thanks,
man.
So
much, sir.
What can I do you for?
Hey, Cap, DJ, and Austin. Period. I know this is your show, Cap, but DJ, your collection has started me down a dark path of Criterion, and I don't know if I can stop myself, especially with the 50% off sale. My condolences, sir. I apologize. It's very addicting.
Can I interject for a second and just say that if it weren't for the ridiculous amount of Power Rangers gaming stuff I've bought in the last couple of years, I would have exactly the same thing. Because of DJ, because I went there last year and he took me to the Criterion sale and I spent like $150, had a stack of stuff. That video's on his channel if you want to go see that. I bought some really cool stuff, and I've now looked at a couple of them because we did Silence of the Lambs recently. Yeah, and I watched the 54 Godzilla not too long ago from that collection. But anyway, yeah, I would have the same thing if it weren't for all the other collections. And I've been getting back into Batman pops a little harder again lately, too. Been finding more new ones. I bought a Valentine's Day one the other day. I don't even know why that was at the store I went to. Where like it looked new, but I was like, but it's Valentine's Day. I don't even understand that. I'd never seen it. I showed it to Austin. It was it was made to look like a chocolate Batman.
Yeah, you showed me too.
Like a chocolate bunny. Oh, I did show you that. And it has a hole in the top and it's hollow in the head. It's awesome.
Maybe it's just really, really early and it's not late.
Yeah, somebody put it on the shelf too early.
DJ, how often do you get that comment from people where it's like, thanks to you, I have to take out a second mortgage?
Not too often. A lot of my fans are just already fans of the Criterion. That's how they find me. But no, I'm very happy when I hear it. I'm glad I'm spreading the love a little bit and getting the word out there. I like it. It's really fun 2 times a year to go to Barnes and Noble, and it's getting harder and harder to find some because they're shrinking the size of the section now. But it's November, so that means there's one going on right now. Last year was when you were here, Cap, and we did that. Or was it 2 years ago?
No, it was last year.
Yeah, last November. So yeah, we're doing it right now. I just went with Grace today. I had to order some though because I couldn't find any on the shelves that I wanted. So check out those videos. They're coming out. I just shot a video yesterday with Grace about some of the new announcements for February. We're getting our first superhero movie in the collection. It's pretty cool.
What is it?
What is it called?
Meteor Man.
Blake Man of the Criterion Collection.
That was where my mind went to first, and then I was like, is that the obvious one? I'm gonna go with Meteor.
I feel like Defendor has a chance. I've always said that.
It's the Heroic Trio and then also Executioners, so the sequel to it. So it's a 2-movie collection starring Michelle Yeoh and Anita Moy and Maggie Chung, which is pretty cool.
That's probably why it's foreign. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, Chinese film, I think, but it looks very cool. I recommend you check out the trailer on their website because it looks absolutely insane.
Yeah, I own a Michelle Yeoh superhero movie that I've not watched yet, but apparently she's made more than one of those.
Yeah, it's like a 3 female superhero team, and they're like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, but the one I have isn't even in that.
2 roles.
Isn't even in that franchise. It's a different thing. I forget what it's called. Silver something. Another Silver
Sable.
Yeah. It's not Silver Fox. It's not Silver Mane. It's not
Sable Surfer Mane.
Silver Surfer Mane Sable. Hammerhead.
I'm just waiting for Hammerhead to like get the treatment that every other Spider-Man villain gets, where he just turns into like a big street shark.
He just turns into King Shark. That'd be awesome.
Except he's a hammerhead shark.
Yeah. Well, he was a hammerhead in New 52.
Oh, it is Silverhawk. That's what it's called. Cinematographic. Yeah, thanks. Silverhawk.
I want the Darkhawk movie. Come on, Marvel. How have we made it this far without the Darkhawk movie?
Hey, if you just came in, just one more quick plug for this. We're doing After Dark tonight on Patreon, and we're going to try to be a little bit more interactive with the live crowd and try to play some Jackbox if we can make that work out. So come in, pop in with us, and it's a good time. Just the $2 tier, patreon.com/Geekvolution. And now for more questions. DJ, I'm seeing more Super Chats, but do you see any pre-writtens so we don't shaft those?
Absolutely. I got one here from AMC Comics. Random question for you, Cap. Since you were a Sega guy growing up, were you more of a 3-button controller or 6-button controller guy?
I love that question. I appreciate that. Thank you for being my one audience member that wants to talk about retro games. The answer to that is not interesting. It just depends. Well, no, actually, I do have a decent answer to this. Well, what I was going to...
Thanks for...
Okay, here, I've got all kinds of problems here. Hang on.
Oh, no,
I don't think anybody can hear you guys right now, so just give me a second. Technical difficulties. Please stand by. Hang on. There we go. Thanks for that. That was wonderful.
You're welcome.
It's very helpful. Austin is a professional. He's like, there's not going to be any dead air. No, I just unplugged my microphone and it messed up everything. Anyways, okay, so what I was going to say when I said I don't have an interesting answer to this is, it really just depends on whether the Sega game requires 6 buttons, right? Like, I always played with 3 until I got more into fighting games on that system. Because I played more fighting games on Super Nintendo, but then there were a couple things on Genesis that I ended up getting. And so eventually it was like, some of these things you have to have 6 buttons for. But that's not actually entirely accurate either. Like, I had both eventually. It was good to have a 6 button because some games just really wanted 6. Like, if you played even Zombies Ate My Neighbors, like, you don't want to play that with a 3-button controller. That's awful because there are just too many buttons. You've got to have a select button for the weapon that you're firing with and for extra items, and there's a layout, there's a map layout for 3, but it's awful. But the 3-button controller is kind of nicer in your hands. I like what that feels like better. So I kind of wish somehow you had a 6-button controller that was still as large as the 3-button controller, because they got a little smaller with the 6. And the feel of it's the same basic shape, but the feel of it is not quite the same. It's not as comfortable in your hands. I always found that to be the case anyway.
So the TLDW version of that is just, if it requires 3 buttons, then 3 buttons. If it requires 6 buttons, then 6 buttons.
Yeah, pretty much. But like I said, I'd rather play something with 3 if I can, because I like holding that better. And then the Sega Saturn kind of perfected the design of the 6-button, because that controller is a little sleeker and it's got kind of a grip on the back that it just feels better. But anyway, thanks for asking that question. I know me and him are the only people that enjoyed that. But
I've been on not a retro games, well, still retro, but more arcade game kick. I went to an arcade when I was in Dallas. I told you about, like a barcade with like, that one is actually really cool though, because it was.
See, I got him on that. He got me on the Criterions, and I got him on.
It had all
arcade.
the retro stuff. Like, we have a couple of arcades here, but it's just all retro stuff. But that one had retro stuff, and it had like Pop-A-Shot and skee ball and stuff that like I could do, like my wife and kids would be like interested in, like Dance Dance Revolution, stuff like that. But also all the retro stuff and all the pinball machines. So that's cool. But here it's just either a regular arcade or just like all retro stuff.
Don't you hate that?
I took my kids to one here. It was mostly pinball and then a lot of old retro stuff, and they had a good time. But they're only 3 and 5. They had a really good time like once. I don't know if I could keep taking them there. I think they would get old after a while. But
sure.
But I really enjoyed that, and I kind of want to get like you said, one of those emulator systems that has a bunch of games in it, because I fell in love with the Popeye game for some reason. I really, really liked the Popeye game, and I was playing the crap out of that at both of those arcades that I went to last week. It was weird.
I didn't know there was a Popeye game. That sounds cool.
It's well liked.
Really fun.
Yeah. What's weird about that is that Mario was originally supposed to be a Popeye game.
Yeah. That's like a Nosferatu situation where they couldn't get the rights, so they just made their own. Although we didn't get like a massive Nosferatu franchise after that.
Yeah, what would the world look like if a Popeye game had invented the 2D platformer the way Mario did? Can you even fathom it?
I would love it. Although I wouldn't.
No, actually, what would the world look like now? Like without Mario? It's nuts.
Popeye wouldn't be cool because he would just be, the fad. He wouldn't be this thing that only my kids know.
No, there's no way.
But no, it's fun. I mean, you can just play it online. Like you just type in your browser, like play Popeye game, and you just play it on your browser if you want to see what it looks like, Austin. But yeah,
cool. Yeah. Last time I went to an arcade, I was like, "Oh, they have Injustice here." I grabbed one of my friends, was like, "Come play it with me." And I walked over, and it was the mobile game on a arcade cabinet. I was like, "What is this?"
So that's not technically accurate, but it might as well be a mobile game. It's a lot of those. They don't make fighting games anymore for arcades. It's unfortunate, but there's a lot of these, like in Dave and Buster's and stuff. There's a lot of these I want to call them coin guzzlers, but it's not coins anymore. It's a card or whatever. It's all lame and sad, and they're basically like phone apps, but it's not the exact same app. Is what that is.
It had some of like the cards and stuff from the mobile game, so I assumed it was just that.
Well, I say that I thought the whole card thing was just that. Does the phone game also do that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because they've had that card system for like 6 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I have some of them. I played that a few times at Dave & Buster's with Jason, and like it's not very good, but the cards were kind of cool.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know.
I was sad.
Something funny about that second barcade that I went to is they obviously you don't have to. It's like you pay for a wristband, and their games are just all rigged, so you can just push start. Like you don't have to put any money in or anything.
That's how most of them go, except a lot of them will still make you pay for pinball.
Oh, weird. This one was the
I've seen
just
that
loaded.
too, yeah.
But this is what I was going to say. There was one pinball game that they had to give you tokens for to start because it was the Big Lebowski and it was like explicit and they didn't want kids playing it. So you had to go get tokens from the counter to play the Big Lebowski pinball machine, which my wife was disgruntled about because she loves that movie so much.
That's awesome.
But yeah, arcades are cool. Where should we go? Hot Soup. $4.99 super chat. Any thoughts on the new Suicide Squad game trailer? I'm still on the fence myself, but at least it looks kind of interesting now.
Austin, go ahead. I didn't even know that it dropped, and I at this point don't think I really have any interest in that game at all. But
I'm fully prepared to get a kick in the teeth when that game comes out because I just want a good Suicide Squad game, and I know I'm probably gonna end up playing it anyways. And I thought the new trailer looked a little bit better than the last one, but part of it is they're also like really avoiding any of the kind of live service stuff. So,
what do you mean they're avoiding it?
Like they don't mention it at all in that trailer.
See, I wasn't sure what you meant because I didn't know. They got a lot of backlash for that, so I thought you meant maybe they had gutted all that.
Well, I think there was talks about it, but then they were like, here's the pre-order bonus, and it was like battle pass token, like weapon that's like this level or whatever.
Okay,
I'm sure I will have fun playing with friends. Like DJ and some guys on the Discord and I played Avengers one night, and that was really fun.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I'll have moments like that, but yeah.
Sorry, man. I hope you like it at least as much as you like the Guardians game, but maybe that's too much to wish for.
Probably, but you never know.
Well, I was going to say, do you think there's any chance that it goes the same way Avengers did?
Probably. I just hope it's better than Gotham Knights. I thought Gotham Knights was really boring. So.
Yeah, I still don't have any interest in playing that.
Yeah, Avengers was really... Sorry.
No, sorry. Go ahead, DJ.
I was just gonna say, Avengers was really fun to play, like with you guys in the Discord and like with other people. It just wasn't very fun to play by yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And
I couldn't. I never tried it multiplayer, but I could not get into the campaign on that at all. I played it for 2 hours, and it was just glitchy as all hell, and I did not like the story at all. And I was like, I don't care. I'm done.
Yeah, but just running around with John, Austin, and Dan, like smashing things as the Avengers was pretty badass, pretty fun. Yeah. Even though like the levels are enormous and like nothing, it's just like desert land all around you, and it's super boring to look at. But at least I'm smashing people.
Yeah, at least the Suicide Squad is like full open world metropolis, so it's more interesting than just desert.
Yeah, it'll probably look good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does look good. I also don't think that's a good Suicide Squad premise, but we'll see.
No, I don't either.
But with Gotham Knights, I played it for like 2 hours, and half of it was trying to get run over by trains before I found out you can't. And then I was sad. I was like, they should let you get run over by trains.
Am I right?
Have fun in games.
I thought I had heard that Gotham Knights was weird because it tried to sort of incorporate RPG elements, so it was really grindy.
Yeah, well, and I expected it to just be Arkham, like have that same combat system, and then it didn't, which is fine. Yeah, it was just kind of boring.
It's not fine if it's not fun, though.
No, exactly.
It's so weird because the early gameplay with that, even the combat looked like it was just right out of right out of Arkham, and then later on when I saw more of it, I was like, no, because don't they have like numbers over people's heads and stuff?
Yeah, which Arkham doesn't have.
That's what I'm saying. Is like,
yeah.
But some of the early footage of gameplay, I remember seeing some combat, and I don't think it had that. At least that's what I'm remembering. I might be wrong about it, but it's like, did they change that somewhere, or?
Well, that was the thing. They like just showcased on this new Suicide Squad trailers that there's like the Arkham dodge mechanic for guns. Like when people are shooting at you, they'll have like the red flash on their muzzle for you to counter it. It's like they're sort of trying that, but in a shooter.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I just had a thought, Austin, and I know that I won't be able to get you to do it with me, so I'm not volunteering you. But I don't know if it'll be the next one or when, but I know what people would be very excited to see me do
Gotham Knights.
Another blind commentary stream on, and yeah, it'd be that Gotham Knights show.
I mean, I would do Gotham Knights because it looks like more Batwoman.
Okay, cool. Well, obviously you're invited. I just figured you'd be like, hell, I'm not watching that.
No, I really wanted to watch it, and then it kind of got away from me, and now it's canceled, so...
Yeah, but they made few enough of it that we could do it in probably 2.
And it looks like it could be in the same universe as Madam Web, so...
It kind of does. That's true. But yeah, I reviewed the pilot, but I didn't watch any more of it. Like, it's not good, but... I got a lot of good feedback on that video, and people really wanted me to talk about more of that, and I was like, yeah, I got better things to do. So,
but do you these days?
What do you mean?
That's not an insult on you. I'm just saying a lot of.
I just don't even know what that means. I'm making a movie.
Same.
I got a baby coming in 7 weeks. I don't understand that.
No, Cap, we're gonna do Gotham Knights, and then we're finally gonna do Riverdale.
Well, DJ, you're missing the part where I'm gonna watch She-Hulk and make fun of it. I'm not going to watch it and take notes and think about it and then discuss it.
No, we need the extended superhero rewind special and all.
I'm not putting that kind of effort into those shows. I'm sorry, I'm not.
Scripted rewind returns for She-Hulk.
Call me lazy, that's fine. When it comes to this kind of crap, it's all I can do. Like,
that's the extent of
all we're gonna get tomorrow is Cap and I twerking with She-Hulk. It'll be a very good show.
I can't wait. I've been waiting for the sequel to Cap's dancing stream.
Oh, why didn't we do? Why do you have to bring that up every so often? That even I'm gonna make that unlisted.
No regrets.
No, DJ and I are gonna download it and then re-upload it.
We're gonna make shorts out of it and post those on our channels.
Yeah, and I'm gonna make actual shorts. Like I'm gonna print you dancing onto shorts and then wear them.
No publicity is bad publicity.
It gotta be sweat shorts.
Exactly.
TJ, do you though? Do you have better things to do than watch Gotham Knights?
That was more just me saying a lot of the stuff is on the same level of quality as.
Oh no, I see what you're saying. No, you're like, we're doing these other things. But that's what I'm saying is like I'll do that. I'll look at it and talk with you guys while I'm watching it. But I'm not gonna watch that whole thing and sit down and like articulately discuss it. I'm not gonna do that.
What am I, crazy? Oh man. Oh, by the way, did you guys see that new Taika Waititi soccer movie that he's making?
I've been seeing ads for it.
Oh my
forever.
god.
Yeah.
I saw.
You know what the best part of that is? Sorry. The ad I saw was before a movie, and I don't go to the movies that much anymore, but I was in the theater a couple weeks ago watching Nightmare Before Christmas with my kids, and we got there early enough that they had the pre-show stuff where they had the trailer with Waititi talking about it. Have you seen that? And the best part is when he says, "I don't know anything about soccer." But the script really appealed to me. I'm like, that's how he makes movies! He doesn't know about anything he makes!
He's making a Star Wars movie, and he was like, hey, Natalie Portman, you should be in this Star Wars movie.
What do you think about being in a Star Wars movie? And she's like, I did that. I did 3 of them. Yeah. I was the love interest for the main character.
No, when I first saw a trailer for that, I was like, why did Waititi remake that Will Ferrell soccer movie from 2004?
Dude, the only thing I've seen of it, you know how YouTube will force you to watch ads that are below 20 seconds or whatever, or 10 seconds, like the little short teasers. So that's all I've seen of it, and the teaser was literally just what's his face? Michael Fassbender's face, and then someone kicks a soccer ball and it hits 3 people in the face. I'm like, the dude has one joke. He just likes hitting people in the face with CG balls. Like in all of his movies, it's not funny. Why does he keep doing it? Why do people think it's funny? It's the same thing he did with Thor.
Because that's what comedies do.
God, and it's like not even it's like a CG ball because it like bounces and like unreal. Just like in Thor where he throw the ball like hits him this way and he goes the wrong way. Like at least do the if you're gonna do a physical pratfall joke, at least do it right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, DJ.
My favorite part of the Three Stooges back in the day is that they would walk up to each other and then like a little CG hand would come up and poke one of them.
Here's the thing about slapstick, especially in something that's not like Three Stooges, but is in a movie with, like dialogue and a story. I don't understand including it in trailers, and I also, like DJ, don't understand when a whole audience is in uproarious laughter at a pratfall joke 20 seconds into a trailer with characters that you've not spent any time with. Because to me, it really only works when the timing is really good and with characters that it's fun to see that happen to because you know them. That doesn't even work in a trailer.
Oh, apparently it does. Just getting hit in the face with the ball is hilarious.
I mean, at that point, it's just America's Funniest Home Videos. Like, stop it.
Yeah, put Taika Waititi in charge of America's Funniest Home Videos.
He should.
He belongs.
He would be very qualified for that.
Or have him do Flubber. Like, have Flubber bouncing around and hitting people.
You know what? If they announced that tomorrow, that
Taika
Waititi was making the remake to Flubber, I would not remotely be surprised by that.
It's like, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think you can shock me about anything anymore. I really don't. I mean, if I'd seen the Madam Web trailer, I just said that in a sentence. There's a Madam Web trailer, you guys. I don't know.
You've at least done Madam Web, so it's like, Madam Web unites the 3 Spider Women, and they all get hit by a ball.
I mean, if I'd seen that 10 years ago, I'd be like, oh my God, what has happened to the world? Like, I wouldn't be able to process it.
Like, there's literally a Madam Web trailer. There's a trailer out in front of some, film set that says Madam Web on the front of it. That's insane.
Yeah.
Big budget movie trailer.
Robert says I'm overanalyzing comedy again. I get that if I analyze comedy.
What is there to analyze? It's a ball that's not even really there. It's just people going, ugh. And
well, no, I'm not analyzing that. I'm analyzing why it works when it works.
It's just, the reason that slapstick works is because it's actually impressive. Like Charlie Chaplin and Harold Lloyd and Buster Keaton are doing like insanely impressive things that nobody can do. And it's shockingly funny because of how impressive it is.
Yep.
Chris Hemsworth going, ugh, and like falling down the wrong way, and then you put a red CG rubber ball in is not impressive at all. There's on any level.
Or just the 3 Stooges beating each other up.
That's why I can't deal with CG magic tricks in a film.
Mm-hmm.
Like Now You See Me, which was like critically acclaimed, and they made a sequel. I was like, I can't suspend my disbelief to watch this. You got clearly CG magic tricks with sage magic, where it's like, I can tell how you did that because you had computer artists do your trick.
Welcome to Hacks 101.
Dagan Spears says about Madam Web, Uncle Ben or Richard Parker he's red, so take this with a grain of salt because I don't know if this is a rumor or whatever. He's supposed to be the paramedic guy in the trailer, and Mary Parker is in it, and she's pregnant with Peter. I told you it would not surprise me at all if this was the movie that introduced Peter Parker somehow.
Yeah, it's been a rumor for a while, but who knows?
It would be nuts if they did that because then it's like. So Peter Parker was just born into a world that was already all about spiders.
Into the Madam Webverse.
And then Peter Parker will go to the Amazon.
Into the Webverse. So we already had a Webverse because we had a director whose last name was Webb that made Spider-Man movies.
That's true. This is the second Webverse.
Plus DX, do you find America's Funniest Home Videos funny? Like 5% of the time.
I did when when last time I watched it when I was like 11 and it was like midnight and that's the only thing on and you're just sitting in bed. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I remember every time I'd be like, oh, like the stupid wholesome one is always the one that wins. When like there'll be one where it's like somebody gets punched through like a glass wall, and that's the one that's the funniest.
Or like someone's wedding gets completely ruined because someone trips and knocks the bride into a lake or something.
Yeah, exactly. And then the one that wins will be like just some woman singing Dancing Queen with a howling dog. You're like, oh, that's dumb.
Funny Some Videos lost. I mean, the internet just kind of put that show out of business because it's just like that's what the internet is.
Well, obviously, and when I answered that question, I was kind of more just thinking about that kind of comedy, like those kinds of videos.
Like there'll be, those channels that they have on at like restaurants or bars where it's just like Funny Some Videos all the time. It's just like Fail Army or something, and it's just
is that a thing?
24/7. Yeah, it plays on like my office and everything at work.
Well, now they're just playing like one of 18 Steve Harvey game shows.
Yeah. And he's pretending to be a judge in something.
I gotta mention this, Cap, because I don't think you should watch the movie. There's this movie that just came out called Quiz Lady starring Awkwafina, and it's a Hulu.
Oh, I've heard of that.
And I was kind of looking forward to it because she's been good when she's utilized correctly, but it was not good at all. So I don't recommend you watch it, but it's about a woman who's like really, really, it's basically Jeopardy, but they don't use actual Jeopardy. It's like their own quiz show. And she's just like sitting at home. She's like this really introverted character, but she's really, really good. She can answer every question right. So her sister forces her on the game show, and in the movie immediately jumps shark by having her dog get kidnapped and held for ransom, and that's why she has. That's another rant I have. Why can't we just have light comedies that are just low stakes comedies? Why does every comedy these days has to have like spies in it or like the mafia or the mob? Like, can we just have a low?
Well, and dude, that goes back to the 90s and even some of the mid 80s. Like, it felt like every 90s comedy was like that too. Which is kind of why I quit watching comedies.
You can't write any other way for her to go on the quiz show.
You can't make it feel like something that could maybe conceivably happen.
It's insane. But Will Ferrell plays the game show host.
Of course he does.
I think he is weirdly incredible. Like he's way better than the movie he's in. He's basically Alex Trebek crossed with Fred Rogers, and which
makes sense. He was Trebek on SNL.
But he parodied Alex Trebek over and over again on SNL, so that's clearly why he got that part.
He's not doing a parody at all. He's so reserved and like subtle with it. It was very shocking for me for Will Ferrell. He's not doing any Will Ferrell stuff. Like he's very serious and earnest, and he's like that's where the Fred Rogers stuff comes in. Like she runs into him, and she's like he's her hero, and he talks to her and gives her this really great speech, and he's got like.
No, he's a good actor when he's allowed to do that. I mean, I've seen him in stuff like that where he's like that. Now, if I saw Adam Sandler do that, my brain would explode. But
well, he's in 2 Criterion movies.
He is.
He's done a couple
in some movies now. Yeah.
Uncut Gems, and he's also in whatever that.
Oh, weird.
Grown Ups.
I don't know, because all of his own movies he makes just to pay for trips.
Yeah, he just wants to go on vacation with his friends.
He wants to go on vacation.
Now that's become the MCU. They're the new Adam Sandler flicks.
John Watts just wanted to go to Europe with Tom Holland.
Omari Daniels
to go to a green room.
Omari Daniels said you could have stopped at Awkwafina and no one would watch.
Oh no, she's great. You need to watch The Farewell. She's awesome. And I liked her in Crazy Rich Asians too.
Well, I've heard a lot of good things about The Farewell.
Punch Drunk Love, that's what it's called. Thank you, Alex.
Oh yeah.
Austin, how many super chats do we have left? Because we've got 5 minutes. Did I say Austin? DJ. Somebody tell me how many super chats are left.
We just have 2.
Oh, great. Okay. Can we knock those down?
Sure. Senior Sticks, $2. Yes to anti-hero Stiltman and Lady Stiltman, Sony?
No.
That might even be too far for Sony.
It might
I
be.
don't think they own Stiltman because that's a Daredevil thing.
Yeah.
No,
So
clearly they need to do
the Disney Plus show.
No, clearly what they would have the rights to that they should do is Big Wheel
Rocket Racer
and Rocket Racer. Yeah.
Stilton Wheel.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it's a transportation Sinister Six.
Well, I was gonna, wheel and racer rocket and wheels. Like it'd be the Rocket Racer Big Wheel movie.
What do they call you? Wheels and Racer?
No, they call me Big Wheel.
Yeah.
What? Don't you have eyes? I've only got the one wheel.
Maybe they'll be set up at the end of Hypno Hustler.
Or they could do a Frogman.
That would be good. Gibbon would be a good movie.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, that's a 70s Spider-Man villain, I think, and then they brought him back in Spencer's run. He's just like a big monkey.
Oh.
I just want like 50
I just want a movie just called Gibbon.
Like, here are the Gibbons.
Man, Gibbon looks so good.
What else you got?
Sorry, we couldn't salvage it after Gibbon. Sorry,
I ruined it.
Gibbon is the conversation killer. We just found out. Storm Dragon 771 $5 super chat. Apparently, the upcoming Wonder Woman game is going to have live service elements. I don't know how to feel about that.
I do. No.
I don't know if we know that for sure, but that studio's last game did, and then people freaked out and they like cut most of it.
Oh, okay. So they might just not do that.
Yeah, who knows? But Warner Brothers recently came out and they were like, we want to make more live service games, but I don't know if that necessarily means that Wonder Woman game will be that because it's already in development. And it's just like a solo single-player game.
Well, and the live service thing is really screwing Sony up right now. So I could see other companies looking at what's happening with them and going, yeah, maybe that's not the direction to go right now. Because they had apparently like 12 that were, and they put all their eggs in that basket where they're not doing the exclusive, single player campaigns and multiplayer experiences that they're known for, and they're
walking sims.
They were really putting their eggs in that basket, and they were supposed to have 12 that would all come out by I think 25, if not next year, and they've put half of them off now.
Yeah, I mean, it's becoming the death of gaming.
It's kind of like what's happening with streaming and movies and TV shows.
I was just gonna make that. That's
I'm sorry.
Equivalent.
I stole it from you.
Streaming killed movies and
online. Video killed the radio star.
Well, it's funny because I feel like with superheroes, especially, like you could do something cool with that model, right? Like, let's say you have Batman Arkham, like you have Batman in the city, and just like periodically you go, okay, we're gonna add this new like story chunk, and then okay, like here you keep like adding things, like that could be interesting because that's kind of
that's how that's the comic model, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. But the issue is that we go, okay, here's 10% of a game,
yeah,
and we'll release the rest over the next 10 years.
No, release an omnibus and then go on and release another trade.
Yeah, like you could do something cool with that, but we just don't. The thing I'm looking forward to with that Wonder Woman game, though, is how they translate the Nemesis system from their Lord of the Rings games, where it's like you have like a hierarchy of villains, and they like remember like fights you've had with them and stuff.
That's
like
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And Wonder Woman's a good property to do that with because it can be in a similar vein to that since it's such
you
a
like start
thing.
rivalries and stuff in those Lord of the Rings games, and it's really cool. It's really cool when you've been like, okay, like I've lost to this one orc master guy like 6 times, and
now
like
I
finally beat him. Yeah, he's my nemesis.
If they really dig into the Greek mythology with that, I'll be really interested in that.
Yeah, could potentially be really cool.
I would love that, and then an Aquaman game where it's like really deep into the mythology too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like you said, I know neither of us are huge fans of that Spider-Man game on PS4, but I thought that was kind of cool. Where like a year later or whatever, we got those side missions. I mean, they weren't crazy cool or anything, but it was kind of nice to have a little bit more to play.
Yeah, definitely.
And it wasn't too expensive. I think it was like $12 or something, $20.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I liked some of the Arkham DLC for Arkham Knight, where they added like the Killer Croc and Mr. Freeze stuff.
Yeah, I think I only played like maybe one of those. I can't remember now.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool with comic book characters because you can just have like, oh, I'm gonna make a Tombstone mission or like the Black Cat mission, or like I'll bring in another character, like another villain, and it's basically like a few more levels of the game with that villain.
Well, and to be fair, with the live service thing, I mean, if you kept it going and it was really popular for long enough, you could start including things that are, you know, new to comics and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
You know, like if there was a big breakout character or something.
Bring in the Batman Who Laughs.
I knew you were going to say that, yeah.
Bring in Gibbon. I can't wait for the Gibbon.
So I don't know, I guess I should be a little bit...
Spider-Man 3, we have to riot.
But yeah, you make a good point. Like, I should be a little bit more open-minded about it, I guess. But I just don't feel like typically you get enough bang for your buck in the first place. And
well, I'm not saying keep an open mind. I'm just saying, like, you could do something cool with it. We just won't.
Well, I don't know that I should keep an open mind about specifically that, but I'm just saying that, like, the model could work.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
something interesting.
Maybe
Whereas
at some
the streaming
point
model just can't work. There's no way the streaming model can ever work. It's like Movie Pass.
Yeah, where it's like, how are you even supporting it? How do you make enough money?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even if you're just selling, like, you know, story packs at, like, I don't know, like $10 or whatever, like DJ said, like, I don't know, like, I think that's fine. Like, can you just kind of hold on to a game like that?
Yeah, if they're good and there's not enough
exactly.
in it, and especially if there's any replay value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially, like, I think I would prefer that over, like, knocking out a sequel, like, within the same generation, and then you have to buy, like, a whole new game. You just, you know, kind of build onto it.
Yeah, you know, I'm thinking about it, like, I don't want to be hypocritical about this. I was, and it had problems, and it could be glitchy, and it could be redundant, but, like, I was one of the few people that bought majorly into LEGO Dimensions and bought almost all of it, and the Toys to Life model was very much like this, where you buy a story pack, and except that you buy a physical thing.
That model was made for you, Cap.
You play for that's the thing is I really love physical collecting, and yeah, it was overpriced, it was too expensive, but there was some replay value to some of that stuff, and if you know, especially if you bought enough of it, it ended up being a crazy massive game. Like, I never could have 100%ed everything. And at least you do have that collectability. You have something like physical that you have bought. Which, you know, you don't get with just the regular what do you call it? The model we were just talking about.
Live service.
The live service thing, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just hoping the new Iron Man game nails it. If it doesn't, I'm gonna be sad.
Well, and that's a low effort game. You just have to be ahead in a tube. You don't have to do a lot of physical exertion.
Yeah, Plushie DX says, I didn't think Cap was the type. The thing with LEGO Dimensions was that was during a period, this was almost 10 years ago now, and that was during a period where everything in its dog hadn't crossed over yet. And there was a novelty to me for some of the stuff that you could play with all together in the same game, especially once they got to like the third wave of stuff where they got really obscure and they started going, or relatively, and they started going to like 80s properties, and they had like the A-Team and E.T. and like a bunch of weird, say, Beetlejuice. And it was really fun putting all that stuff together.
Well, I feel like novelty stuff like that works better in gaming. Like, I don't like any of the Spider-Verse stuff, but Shattered Dimensions is a fun game. Same with Edge of Time.
Yeah.
Well, it works good in movies, too. You just can't see them.
Fair enough, yeah.
Austin. DJ, are there any more Super Chats, or are we good? Or are we finished?
Nope. No more.
I thought so. I just wanted to make sure we weren't shafting anybody. We are right at 2 hours, so we're going to go ahead and get going. I want to thank my chat moderator, Austin, and our guest tonight, DJ Martinez. Really appreciate you guys.
We'd like to thank our host, Vince.
Yeah, you're turning into Stan Lee Cap, where it's like, oh, smiling Jack Kirby. I let him write this one, DJ and I are gonna riot against you.
I remember when I created DJ's channel.
Just call me Daredevil and Austin Deadpool.
There you go.
Oh man, I'll never get that
Still gonna
straight.
get it wrong.
God, that
Just
won't
call
work.
me Gibbon. I want to be called that from now on.
Gibbon.
So we're gonna go ahead.
Gibbon.
We're going to go ahead and get going now, but we'll be back on Patreon here in about 15 minutes if you want to come in and hang out with us. And like I said, we're going to attempt to set up a Jackbox game and play all together. And I'll put folks in. You'll be able to get a code and play with us for free on all you'll need is a computer or a phone. And you can chat with us in the chat there, and we'll probably have a discussion topic or two as well. So if you're not already a patron, but you want to check that out and hang out with us late, we're going to be on for at least an hour, probably longer. Patreon.com/geekvolution. And in the meantime, really do appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here, DJ. Thanks for being here, Austin. Did that in the order that they're in the boxes so that you know that I actually know who I'm talking about. And in the meantime, thanks for being here. And if you're so inclined, come torture yourself with us tomorrow night at 8 o'clock for She-Hulk. I say that I've not seen it yet, but I have no reason to trust that I'm actually going to enjoy that, given things that I've heard about with that show. So yeah.
Yep.
Look forward to it. It'll be great. See you later, folks. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Oh, this is still the Captain Logan show. We have music for this. Hold on.
Oh.
There we go.
So
okay.
professional.
Bye, everybody.